Welcome, everybody, to Strangest Species, episode 51, 1 week away from 1 year. Yeah. I'm your host, Mike Davis, here with your co-host, Anthony Davis, again. How are you on that side of the table?
Oh, I'm doing great. Super great.
Nice. I am sunburnt.
You are. You have a watch tan and lots of sun on your forehead and cheeks. Actually, most of our kids do. Not all of them, but most.
Yeah, it was sunny today.
It was. It's been, I guess, stereotypical early season weather, but it's been nice. Just not like if you're playing in water,
Right.
nice. But I think it's been nice, except for the torrential rain you got on Thursday night.
I did get a lot of rain on Thursday.
Yeah. So camping, which again, we're glampers. So it's not so terrible because we have a camper. But we did have friends who were tent camping in the rain. And
It was a lot of rain.
kudos to them. I was home, so I missed the torrential. And then after that, it was great. I mean, very, very good, comfortable camping weather. So
Yeah, it was nice. It was chilly, but again, only if you were trying to do things.
I think if you were wet, you'd be cold.
Right.
But I feel like I was.
The dog didn't care.
Oh, and getting wet?
Yeah, I threw
No.
her chuck it in the river a whole bunch.
Oh, yeah.
She was
just-
more than happy
Right.
swimming.
So, yeah, I mean, it was a great weekend. Got to play beach volleyball this morning, which was so fun and unexpected.
We did. We played like 2.5 hours, 2 hours.
2 hours.
Of beach volleyball
Yeah.
today. And yeah, we definitely were not planning on it. My legs can attest to the not
Yeah.
planning on it.
The kids had so much sand in their hair because we played adult, but we also had kids, and every time they tried to hit the ball, they would like flop all over the ground.
Yeah, our
So,
little guy definitely would dive, whether he needed to dive or not, every single time.
every single time. Yeah. But it was tons of fun. Like,
It
I'm
was
just
really good.
super glad. We had a wonderful Memorial Day. Thank you to all the people out there that serve this wonderful country and have served this wonderful country. We talked about it as kids. With my kids, for just to remind them why we have this wonderful holiday. So happy Memorial Day to all of you out there.
Yeah, it was a good weekend.
Great weekend.
But it was very sunny today. And then after that, we came home and worked in the yard for like 4 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
My allergies, man.
I know.
Brutal.
Well, we have kind of a large yard, and
Not kind of a large yard.
I recently
Very
fertilized it. So it was it's green and happy, but it was on the long side. I think it will taper here as soon as the heat and less moisture.
No, you're right. Here in 6
So-
weeks, we'll be complaining about how we can't get it to grow.
Yeah. But yeah, it was much longer than I was expecting when I got home today. So, but anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so we have a riding lawnmower, but we have some parts that are smaller or confined in different areas, like around our garden, that you have to use a push mower.
Yeah, we have both.
And the stupid push mower wouldn't start.
So
Well, it would
that was-
start, but it wouldn't stay started. So I ended up
So that
having
was
to
a
take it
journey.
apart, and just all sorts of things today.
Yeah.
That
the hot tub.
the kids got in
Touched
and
something.
then did something to it where it was spewing water out of the filter, and
Yeah, it was just fun stuff.
yeah, fun. fun. And our little studio right here is really hot.
Yeah, it is. It really is today. We didn't leave. There's no circulation right now.
No.
So
But that's alrighty.
Yeah.
It's all good.
it's all good.
It's all good.
We're ready for another adventure here.
Yes, ma'am. So, what should we talk about?
Well, I want to do a follow-up. So our neighbor, who is the lawyer, who I don't know if you were listening to the last podcast, but said maybe he knows what voir dire or how to even spell it, was listening and sent us just randomly this text message with the spelling and the definition. So one, we appreciate him listening, and two, following through on his job.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a good neighbor.
Teaching us all the lawyerly ways.
So now I'm thinking we're going to talk about something lawyerly. That's what I was segueing into.
One would think that would be smart. I'm still super knee deep in this Karen Reed trial.
Yeah, that's why I feel like it's on your
And
mind.
There hasn't been trial for a couple days, and tomorrow is back in. So like the morning, it's so nice because we live in Pacific time and they're in Boston. So When I
Everything's
wake
later.
up at 6 in the morning, trial's already started, and I can just turn it right on and go. I don't have to wait around or anything. Yeah, so I'm excited tomorrow. We've got some very spicy cross-examinations going on right now.
Any voir diring?
No, but there was a new thing I'd never seen where the judge sent the jury out, and then the witness, and this is the prosecution's witness, had to bring his own personal attorney up to stand next to him to answer a set of questions about him breaking the law. And he's a cop, about the investigation. And so then the defense had to ask all their questions in front of his attorney so his attorney could help answer the questions about, anyways. And that's where it ended last week. Before
It ended on, as my kids would say, a cliffhanger.
Oh, yeah. Huge cliffhanger.
So he's waiting.
So tomorrow I'm very excited.
So,
But Alan Jackson, the main lawyer, the defense lawyer, not the country singer, he's not going to be there tomorrow, so I'm kind of bummed.
oh, that's sad. But I just still feel like we should talk about something lawyerly.
Well, that is a good thought, but no.
Okay. Well, I never am right.
You're
So.
never right, but one day maybe.
One day, maybe.
Maybe. So as always, Anthony never knows what we're going to talk about. Today we're going back in time. This might be the most recent one we've ever talked about.
Yeah.
You'll have to let me know if you can think of one
More recent?
more recent.
Okay.
We're going back to everyone's favorite year, 2020.
2000. Oh. I thought 2000 was everyone's favorite year.
It was an okay year.
No, that was like the world was going to end. The computers were going to crash. That's like the favorite year.
So which year were you more worried about? 2020 and Y2K, or 2012 and the end of the Mayan calendar? Which one did you feel
No,
was...
not 2020. You mean 2000.
Sorry, did I say 2020?
I think so.
Sorry, 2000 Y2K or 2012, the end of the Mayan calendar.
Oh,
Both of them were supposed to bring the end of civilization.
No, for surely 2000. For surely Y2K. I mean, 2012 was like meh.
Meh?
For me.
Yeah.
I
was knee deep. I was a junior in dental school. So I was probably wanting the world to end in 2012.
Okay, sorry for laughing in your guys' ears. It's just the way you said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
I would
man.
have taken it.
No, you wouldn't have. It was fine. You did fine. You did so good.
I don't know if I did so good, but I passed.
Okay.
I do much better now
Well,
without
Yeah.
sadistic, evil mentors standing over my shoulders.
yeah, like drill sergeants in the army.
Oh, so terrible.
Okay.
So we're going back to 2020 today.
Okay, 2020. It's not that long ago, like 4 years.
Like 4 years.
Yeah,
You
okay.
remember what happened during 2020?
Oh, gosh. COVID?
Yeah, there's this thing called COVID.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how I'll ever forget that.
So COVID was spreading, but you know what was spreading faster than COVID?
Fake news?
Probably, but quarantines.
Oh, same difference.
And so things were getting shut down left and right, and everyone was trying to figure out how to find joy and fulfillment in their lives because they were all stuck at home.
Toilet paper, man.
Toilet paper brought a lot of joy.
For a lot of people out there.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking to some buddies today at a barbecue how kids don't toilet paper houses anymore. And I thought, man, now that I'm an adult, I'm very grateful for that. As a teenager, TP'd a lot of houses, man.
It was so fun. It was like a term of endearment.
It was oftentimes. Or it wasn't. One or the other.
It's true.
But, man, can you imagine if someone TP'd all of our stupid pine trees?
Ugh. The cleanup would be
You
terrible.
couldn't even clean. I don't know what you would do. It'd be a nightmare.
Just don't give anyone any ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So people were trying to figure out what to do when they were locked down. And if you were a single person, it was especially hard. We kind of enjoyed our lockdown. It was you, me, the kids. We've
Yeah,
got a
in
big
some
chunk
ways
of
we
property.
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously it wasn't as good as real life, but
Yeah.
we were better off than a lot of people
Oh, I mean,
with entertainment.
we
at
were
least, and things
isolated
to
from
do.
extended family for sure, which was very hard. I couldn't go back to Canada. Nobody knew what was going on there. That was really, I mean, but as a family, we were together. We had people and we had space and good neighbors. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So our story today, we are going to talk about a 54-year-old woman by the name of Sandra Hughes. Now, Sandra had been married twice. She'd been divorced twice. She had no children. She lived by herself. And her life was kind of at a standstill prior to COVID. I mean, she was kind of just, spinning the wheel, but not really going anywhere in life. And then when the lockdowns hit, she was really just at a loss. And it was kind of a wake-up call for her. Like, I need to go do something with my life. I got nothing that I'm in love with here. I'm just, running the rat race, as they say. So it was kind of a wake-up call. She was kind of like Lorelai from the Gilmore Girls. She decides she's going to go hike the Pacific Coast Trail.
Oh.
Pacific Crest Trail.
Yeah.
Which she could never do in real life.
Well, she didn't even do in the show. Not even remotely.
Well, I didn't watch any of those episodes. I just saw her say that she was going to do it. And I thought, yeah, no, you're not.
Well, even Luke knew she wasn't going to do it.
But our friend Sandra here, she lived in Maui.
Ooh.
But Maui wasn't home. She didn't really have a home. She spent her whole life kind of as a nomad, moving from place to place, doing different things. And so in college, she had always planned on being a park ranger. Like, she loved the wilderness. She loved the outdoors. She had studied some wilderness survival. But life happened, as it does to her and you and I and everybody. And reality made her make some other choices, and she ended up becoming an accountant, which is about as opposite as park ranger as you can get.
Yeah, I would say that is one of the most opposite situations you would find yourself in.
But that's where she was, locked in her home, 2020. No significant other, no kids, nothing tying her down, job she didn't really like. And she thought, you know what? Now's a great chance for me to just kind of get back into nature. I'm not supposed to be around people. I've always loved nature. And so she decided she was going to go on this giant, epic camping trip into the woods.
In Maui?
No. So she sold her home.
Oof.
And she moved to the last place you would ever want to move during COVID lockdowns, and that is the wonderful state of California.
Oh, gosh. Okay. Well,
Where they arrest you for surfing because somehow you're going to kill somebody.
I mean, Hawaii was pretty bad during COVID, too.
That's true.
So I don't know if...
Maybe it was an upgrade for her.
Yeah.
So, no, she wanted to go on this solo camping trip, backpacking trip for a few weeks in the Sierra National Forest.
Okay. That's obviously in California.
Which is in California.
Central.
I think it's further south. I think that's actually, and I could be very wrong on this, but I think that's where you start the Pacific Crest Trail. It's going through the Sierras.
Might be.
But I don't know that for a fact.
Okay.
So don't quote me there. But it was somewhere in California. So she gets there and she just figures, hey, this is a perfect way to spend COVID. I'm going to go out in the middle of nowhere. I'm supposed to be hanging out with nobody. I'm going to go hang out with nobody, get back into nature. And so she moves to California. She tells her family, her parents or sisters, or I don't know whoever her family is. And she hops in her car. She drives out into the middle of nowhere, and she drives and she drives and she drives until she gets to a place called the Johnson Meadows.
Okay.
And there she parks her car and heads out on foot for her great adventure.
Okay.
You with me so far?
I'm following.
Perfect. So, July 2nd, 6 days after she leaves on her hike, a group of hikers is coming out of the forest and into Johnson Meadows. And Johnson Meadows is huge. I mean, it's super rural, super rugged, out in the middle of these mountains. So they're coming out, and they can see a camp off in the distance. Now, that's not uncommon. This is a place with lots of hikers and stuff. They're not lots, but avid hikers are out there. So as a courtesy, they kind of are going to go around the campsite, give it some space as to not, to bother whoever it is. But as they're going by, they notice that the campsite looks deserted.
Okay.
There's camping gear scattered all over the ground. Things just look like maybe an animal, like someone maybe deserted and an animal had rummage through everything. So they decided, well, it's probably safe if we go over and check it out. There's probably nobody there. So they head over and they find a backpack is overturned and all of its contents are, strewn out all over the ground. The tent was all mangled. And there's other camping gear lying around, but there's no sign of any person. There's no sign of any kind of foul play, like blood or anything like that. It just looks like someone ditched their campsite and maybe animals got into it. Now, it would be weird for someone to ditch their campsite that far out in the middle of nowhere. And it'd be super weird because most of the kind of people who are out there are your super avid outdoorsmen.
Okay.
They're very good at, pack it in, pack it out.
Right.
Those kind of things. So they mark on their map where they are and where the camp is located. And they decide once we get back to town, we're going to call the sheriff and just let them know. This is weird. Like, nothing seemed wrong, but it was definitely out of the ordinary.
Okay.
So that's what they do. They get back, they tell the sheriff, and the sheriff actually heads out and checks out the campsite. And it's still there. No one's there. And so he's looking through the stuff, and he actually finds a few pieces of ID. And all of them belong to this woman, Sandra Hughes. Now, when the police get back, they call Sandra's family, and they affirm to the sheriff's department that, yes, she's out there hiking, but she's super, super neat, and she's super tidy. And if her camp looked like that, then something definitely has happened to her. So now we've got a missing person.
Yeah.
So where do you think we're at so far?
Oh, right where you say we are.
Perfect. That is where we are.
Yeah. Okay. I was like, I mean, she's missing. It's a little bit weird that her stuff's everywhere, and it's not like her. So.
All correct.
Okay.
I'm glad that I'm leading you on a good path here.
Yeah.
That you're following the story.
I'm following. No problems.
Okay. So the sheriff begins a big search party. And everyone's out looking. I don't know who everybody is, but whoever a big search party is. So the police are asking every hiker, every camper they can, have you seen this woman? Because she has one very distinguishable feature.
Okay.
And that is right before she left, she dyed her hair bright blue.
Oh. That's definitely memorable.
Yes.
Okay.
But nobody has seen anything.
Okay.
No one remembers a bright blue-haired lady.
Okay.
So, that was July 2nd.
Okay.
So it's been 2 days. So it's been 8 days since she left. 2 days since she's been reported missing.
Okay.
So this is now July 4th.
If that was July 2nd and it's been 8 days.
Well, no, July 2nd, it had already been 6 days since she left.
Oh, sorry.
2
gotcha.
days since she'd been reported missing.
Okay, July 4th. Gotcha.
This is Independence Day.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Very excited for
Just want to make sure you knew that.
I know it.
So, another group of hikers is hiking through Johnson's Meadow or the surrounding forest nearby, and they notice something very weird. As they hike through Johnson's Meadow, they see a woman standing all by herself in the meadow.
Is her camp still there? Like
I don't know if the camp's there or not, but
cleaned...
she is not at the camp. Like,
but it's
this woman they see
is not at this.
It's not at this
camp
campsite.
Spot.
She's just by herself in this like thin grove of trees.
Weird. Okay.
She has on no shoes. She has on blue jeans and a black shirt.
I feel like blue jeans is not great hiking attire.
That's exactly what I thought when I first read this too.
Like, why are you wearing blue jeans?
Like, I don't wear blue jeans ever because I don't find them very comfortable. But they're terrible for hiking.
Yeah. Okay. Keep going.
So she's got no shoes on, a black shirt, blue jeans, and she's just staring aimlessly off into nothing.
Weird.
Like she's dazed.
Does she have blue hair?
Well, at this part of the story, we don't know, Ethne.
Okay.
But she has no gear with her. There's no backpack. No.
It's like she's
hiking
lost.
gear. It's like she's lost physically and almost like mentally.
Weird.
Because she's just, it's like she's Dazed and Confused.
That's a movie.
It is a movie. Pretty good movie, too.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
I watched it a lot in high school. They do notice that she has a bruise on her face, but it wasn't very big.
Did they go close to her?
Well, they're kind of creeped out.
Yeah, well, I mean, but you'd have to go if the bruise wasn't very big, you'd have to go close enough to her to see this bruise.
This is a good point.
Right?
Yeah. Good Sherlock Holmes over there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously they're close enough that they can tell that. Maybe they have binoculars. They're spying on her.
I mean, that is
from across the meadow.
Smart thing to take on a hike like this.
We have them in every one of our operatories.
Binoculars?
Yeah.
So that you can spy on all the drug deals in the parking lot? Cool.
Yes. My office is on the 4th floor. And behind our building is a parking lot and an alley. And for some reason, everyone thinks that doing drug deals behind a 9-story building is a really good idea because no one can see you. But in reality,
everyone can see you.
9 floors of businesses are seeing you. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I love that you guys have them in every room.
Yeah, it's great.
That is great. Okay.
So they're a little creeped out because they're way away from civilization.
Rightfully so. I would be creeped out too.
And they kind of justify it like, well, she seems fine. Like, obviously she knows what she's doing because she's out here.
Yeah, she's in jeans and bare feet. Obviously she doesn't know what she's doing.
So they kind of just, and she's not like bleeding or anything like that, right? There's no,
so they kind of just like leave her?
Yeah, so they just kind of scurry past and she doesn't even seem to notice them at all.
Okay. That's a weird human thing to do.
Well, maybe they thought she was like a crazy meth person.
Either way, she's in the middle of nowhere. Like, help out the crazy meth person.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be a weird situation to be in.
It for surely would be, but I feel like
and maybe these hikers, maybe it was a group of like, maybe it was like 2 girls. They didn't feel comfortable.
Okay, I mean, I guess it depends, but still. Okay.
So once this group, though, gets back to the parking lot, they see the missing person posters for Sandra Hughes. And yes, they know immediately that was her because of
the blue hair.
The blue hair.
Cute.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, that's the lady with jeans and a t-shirt and no shoes
and
standing
dazed and confused
out in the middle of Johnson's
Remind me
meadow.
if I ever have like a midlife crisis where I want to do something like this that I need to have memorable hair. Just remind me.
That's a good idea.
Bright pink, bright red, something.
Purple.
All
of those look good on you.
Yeah. Oh.
I think pink would be your best choice of those 3.
Oh, perfect. Okay. Just remind me though.
I'm going to buy a convertible.
No.
When I have my midlife crisis. I'm planning it.
You're planning a midlife? Yeah. I feel like it's not really real.
Maybe like 2 years from now.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sure.
I'm just giving you the heads up.
Thank you.
If I show up with a convertible,
I'll know.
You'll know what's happening.
Okay.
I needed an excuse to buy a convertible.
Okay.
So the sheriff, they tell the sheriff, boom, zoom. He races back out there, right? To try to find her. Because obviously she's alive and something's wrong because she's, who does that?
Not very many.
But they can't find her. They can't find any evidence of her. They can't find anything. So next day, July 5th now, someone finds her car. But her car is 5 miles away from where her campsite and gear was found. But it was found at the bottom of a ravine.
Her car was?
Yes. Now, the front end had damage. And so the investigators thought she must have hit a tree and then gone off the road and into the ravine. You look like you're thinking.
Yeah, it just seems... I don't know what. Just seems so... Like a lot of damage with the car? Or just like a smidge?
I don't know. I just know that it was only the front that had damage.
Okay. Just thinking, like, if she got injured and she had some sort of, like, maybe, do you think this happened before she set up her camp? Like, you're thinking or portraying that, like, she got into this accident or whatever in this ravine on her way to start her hike. So then she goes into this ravine, maybe gets like a head trauma, starts her camp, and then like she has this bleed on the brain or something weird happening with her brain, and it's making her slowly, but it's like all internal, like you don't see anything. I mean, is that kind of...
That is my initial thought at this point. Yes.
Where you're... Okay, so it's weird to me, though, if you go into a ravine with your car, that if you're well enough to kind of get your camping gear and get your stuff and start your camp and essentially set up a camp, it seems like you would report this. Like, I think your brain would be with it enough to say, hey, I should probably let someone know my car's stuck in a ravine. I mean, so it's weird. Like, I can see her still wanting to go and keep going, but like maybe report it or let somebody know or call a tow truck so they can get it out. So when she's done her adventure, it's out of the ravine. I mean, what is she going to do if... I don't know.
Right.
Your brain has
You don't want to be, all right, I finished my 3-week hike. Now I got to figure out what to do with my car. Because now I'm going to be here for another week.
Unless something really strange in whatever happened, maybe she hit her head, it totally just, I mean, messed up her brain, but not enough to like know that she still needed to pack all of her stuff, you know? Right. I just wonder. Okay.
So when the cops go down to the car, there's no apparent signs of injury. There's no blood. There's no...
Sure, but again, if you hit your head even on the steering wheel, there's going to be... It's blunt trauma, right? So there's not going to be any... And the bruise... the bruise!
Right, but it helps the cops rule out... Okay, do we think there's any foul play involved?
Oh, sure. But the bruise...
The bruise...
It's totally a steering wheel to the head or to the face or something. Yep, I've decided.
Which would have been a pretty nasty bruise, because at this point, we're what... How many days out are we? 6 plus 4 is 10-ish?
10-ish, yeah.
So if you could still see a bruise at 9 days...
Well, it'd probably be turning like that nasty yellowish,
but
greenish.
The initial bruise must have been pretty intense then, right?
Yeah, I'm dead set on it.
So the other thing they find is where the car is that there's other items from the car are all strewn out all over the ground as well. Just like the campsite. It's just a hot mess of stuff just kind of left around everywhere.
Okay.
And not camping gear, just literally like the crap from the car. Like chapstick and sunglasses or whatever.
Like someone rummaged through it.
Right.
Weird. Okay.
And so, yeah, it's just weird. Like, my first thought was the same as yours. Is it some kind of amnesia?
Mm-hmm. Like a head trauma. And it's her who's doing it all.
Right.
Right.
But it's also weird, like, if you crashed your car, one, why would you pillage through your own things? And then take your gear and then hike 5 miles and set up camp.
Oh, totally. That's what I'm saying is it's like she's almost okay, but then also very not okay.
Or had someone else done something to her and taken her stuff, but then again, the campers have obviously seen her, so she's alive.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
So it's strange.
Yeah.
It kind of throws a twist in.
Could it be like drug involvement? Maybe. You know, like, I don't know.
So the investigators kind of thought the same thing you and I are thinking. Like, okay, we don't think it's foul play. Our leading, thought is some kind of head trauma.
Okay.
So they decide not to pull the car. Instead,
leave the car in the ravine?
They leave the car in the ravine, and they leave a note on the windshield saying, like, hey, we're looking for you. If, you happen to come back to your car.
What is she going to do? Like, read the note and then what? Like,
well, maybe it'll click something in her brain, or maybe...
Sure, but it's not like she can just call them.
Well, that's true.
Oh, this seems like, for 2020, this seems like a real not...
Well, maybe, though, like, if she came back to the car, that you just hunker down and stay at the car. Because she'd be like, I know there's a search party, and they know where this car is.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Like, I should just stay here.
Okay. Yeah, maybe. weird. Okay.
Yeah. They got to do something, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So a week later,
a whole week.
nothing's happened for a week. 2.5 miles north of the wreck.
Okay.
So 7.5 miles from the initial campsite.
Mm.
Searchers find a sleeping bag near a super remote lake.
Okay. So we're going opposite direction of the camp.
Correct.
Okay.
We're heading north, which doesn't mean anything in this audio version, but
opposite direction entirely. Okay, weird.
So this lake was super, super remote. No trails, no roads. The only way to get there is essentially to bushwhack.
Okay.
And I've been to some of these lakes, and they're very,
beautiful.
very beautiful, but very hard to get to.
Yeah.
Now, so they find this sleeping bag. It does seem like it had been used, not like the day before, but not 5 years before either, like fairly recently.
Okay.
And so they take it back and
DNA.
They confirm with her family or somebody who says, yes, that's Sandra's sleeping bag. Or maybe it had her name in it. I don't know. Somehow they tie it to her.
Okay.
So now they're worried that she's wandering alone because there's still no sign of her there. It's like,
right.
Yeah, she's been here, but she hasn't been here in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, she has now left her sleeping bag as well.
It's interesting. So weird. Because, if you're dehydrated and stuff like that, you can do a lot of weird things. You can get a little bit delirious. You can, So, yeah, it's weird.
It is weird, eh?
Yep, super weird.
So the search goes on for another month.
Another month?
But they don't find her. They don't find any evidence of her. And the police have to call off the search.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, saying they searched for a month, I don't know if they're actively searching.
So, no other signs. Mm-hmm. Like after the sleeping bag, no other signs.
Nothing.
Did they clean up her camp?
I presume so.
Okay.
I assume by this point, yeah, they have. And
they just assume she's dead.
Dead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's still an open case, but everyone's probably just assuming she got eaten by a bear or a mountain lion or
just
starved to death
yeah.
or dehydrated or fell off a cliff or drowned. Who knows, but
okay.
No sign of her everywhere. But on August 9th.
Jeez.
So 3 weeks after the search was called off, 2 hunters are driving deep, deep in the forest.
Okay.
On an old forest, logging road. Not a main, paved, nice road. They're off in the boondocks. And they come around a bend, and up on a small hill on the side, leaning against a tree, is a woman completely by herself with no gear. Just standing again in the middle of the forest.
Blue hair?
Yes, I believe so.
But it would have some roots by this time.
Probably.
Yeah.
Again, both hunters are kind of creeped out.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to come across a person when you're not expecting to find a person.
But someone with gear.
Right.
Ready to, they're out there, they're there deliberately, they know what they're doing. Does she still have her jeans and black t-shirt on?
Well, this is going to throw a weird twist in this story.
Okay.
We'll get there in a second.
Oh.
So yeah, like you said, it's one thing to find someone with all the gear. Something else to find someone with no gear, and again, just staring blankly into nothing. And you're in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's weird.
It is so weird.
It would be very unnerving.
Yeah. But they're hunters and they have guns.
Hunters and
so
they have guns.
Get a grip and go talk to the crazy lady.
Well, they do.
Uh-oh. Okay.
So yeah, they actually do stop and approach her, and kind of say hey,
can we help you?
Can we help you?
Yeah.
Do you need something? And she doesn't respond. She just stares off into space.
Whoa.
There's no reactions. They're not even there.
Okay.
Which would be double creepy.
But they need to take her somewhere.
Yeah. I guess. What do you? I mean, really? Are you just like pick her up and?
Yes.
I mean, you probably could like grab her hand and be like, "Hey, like, why don't you come with us?"
Like, we need to take you to
and
the
then
police
you get
station.
attacked by a horde of, feral people in the woods. That's what I would be thinking.
Oh, yes. Like, there's a whole people of feralness that stare blankly.
Hey, we might do a story on some feral people from the Pacific Crest Trail.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
There's some crazy stories out there.
I'm sure there is.
And I've read them, and now I'm terrified of finding people in the woods.
Okay. Well, then let's not read them.
They're interesting, though.
Well, yes. Perfect.
So, but again, she looks physically fine.
Yeah, I hope these people don't just drive away.
Oh, they totally leave her.
Okay, this is the craziest thing. Are you kidding me? We are in 2020 here. They just leave this woman in the middle of nowhere with no gear.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So once they get into town, though, like everyone else, they see the missing posters and they see the blue hair and they say, "Oh my goodness, that's the woman that we saw out there."
Okay, this is too much.
And so they go and report it to the police, but they tell the police something very interesting.
Okay.
They tell the police that one, she lost a ton of weight from the photos.
What?
But it's
Sure.
been 6 weeks or whatever, But that she was wearing a floral top and overalls.
Okay. Why on earth does anybody wear overalls hiking? They don't. Maybe she has found like a
hidden cache of denim products in the woods.
Group of people that she's, like she needs to change her clothes and she just is like gets them off their clothesline or something and then runs. I don't know.
Maybe. But
like the feral people up in the middle of nowhere.
who wear overalls and floral. It's like a hippie encampment.
Well, who knows, man? I don't know.
But isn't that strange?
Okay.
I mean, it'd be strange to find her. But the fact that you think it's the same woman, I mean, they don't know what she was wearing previously. But if you're the police department thinking like,
this makes no sense.
This makes no sense. She has no gear.
Okay.
And again, why would you wear this crazy, crappy gear?
Okay. Why do these people not put her in the car?
They wanted to go hunt, man.
Take her hunting. She obviously needs help.
They probably asked her. She didn't say anything, so.
So? That's a sign that you even need more help.
She definitely needs some help, man.
I can't even handle these people.
So again, the cops race out there again.
She's not going to be there.
Nope.
Of course not.
Nothing. Can't find a sign of her. Can't find any evidence. Can't find anything.
So crazy.
So then everything just goes dark. There's no more sightings for the rest of the year. Winter comes. And by this point, now everyone really does assume she's dead.
She's not going to be.
Winter in the mountains with no shoes and jeans.
Yeah, but she's not going to be.
Not going to be, huh?
Nope, she's not going to be dead.
Well, this part of the story gets a little trippy.
I mean, it's already trippy, but...
We're going to get more trippy.
Oh, great.
It really is weird. But it's cool. But it's weird.
Okay.
You ready?
I don't know. You're making me nervous.
You should be.
Okay.
So July 2021.
Like a whole year later.
Whole year later.
Okay. Still living the COVID life.
Still living the COVID life.
Mm-hmm.
So a young family, mom, dad, 3 little kids, are out driving ATVs. Or one ATV.
I would assume that are not too remote if you have 3 little kids.
I don't know where they were exactly.
Okay.
I did read where they were, but it meant nothing to me, so
Okay.
I didn't write it down.
Okay.
But they're in the Sierra Forest, National Forest. And they're driving around, zipping around, having fun. And they decide they need to find somewhere to stop they have a picnic with them, lunch. So they're trying to get up to the top of this mountain. And as they're going up, they come to a meadow. And they're like, "Oh, this is a great spot. Let's stop and have lunch here." So they stop the ATV. Like I said, their kids are small enough that all 5 of them fit in one like side by side razor kind of thing. So the parents are getting everything ready for lunch, and their youngest son, Caden, who is only 3, almost 4, starts having this intense conversation looking out into the woods. Like he's talking to somebody in the woods. And it's obvious to his parents that he's not talking to his siblings. So his parents ask him, like, hey, who are you talking to? And the conversation becomes more and more intense. Like he's not listening to them. Like he's having this really intense conversation with somebody in the woods, but his parents can't see who he's talking to, which again would make you super uneasy and just kind of creeped out. You're in the middle of nowhere and your son's just having a full on conversation with nobody. And so the mom goes up to him and she's but she's a little uneasy about this. Like, what is going on? And she asks him who you're talking to. And he replies, there's a woman right over there and she needs our help, pointing into the woods. So hesitantly, the 2 parents go to the trees and start looking around for a person, but they can't find anybody. But their son, Caden's just becoming more and more agitated and more intense. And he's yelling, there's a woman over there and she's laying face down with her feet in the air and she's dead. And so now their parents are freaking out. Like, what in the world is going on? What are you talking about? And he's just repeating over and over. There's a woman over there. She needs our help. She's dead. You can't see Ethne's face, but
I'm just weirded out. So weirded out.
She's enjoying the story.
No, I'm not.
And so his parents are horrified. They're racing around the woods. They're looking all over, and he keeps just pointing and yelling, like, she's right there. She's right there. She's right there. And they can't find anybody. Now they're terrified, so they just throw all the gear back in the ATV, and they're like, we're not going up to the top of the mountain. We're getting out of here.
Yeah.
And so they take off, and, literally get off the mountain as fast as possible.
Yeah.
Now, they don't go tell the police this. Like, why would you, right? Like, it's just this weird event that happened. But that night, the mom she writes about it on Facebook. Like, we had the weirdest thing happen to us today. And the police actually see her post.
Whoa.
And they follow up. They call her.
Whoa.
And say, hey, we actually want to talk to you guys because she put in her post that the woman that Caden saw, that he kept saying he saw that they couldn't find, was wearing a black shirt, jeans, and had blue hair.
Whoa.
Yeah. Isn't that trippy?
Yeah.
And so the police are like, can we talk to your 3-year-old? Because we've been looking for that woman for
a year.
And so they send a deputy out to their house. And
yeah, 3-year-olds are great sources of information.
Well, when they're seeing dead people, I guess.
Gosh, I can't even.
And so the deputy comes out and he brings a bunch of photos of different women. Some of them are Sandra. Mm-hmm. Some of them are just random people. And he lays them all out on the table and he says, can you
identify?
Tell me the lady you saw. And he picks out 3 photos. And all 3 of them are of Sandra Hughes.
What in the world is happening?
Yeah. So the cops ask, can we take you back up there? And so Caden and his mom and the deputy drive back up to where they were, but they can't find anything. They can't find a body. They can't find any evidence of anything. To this day, Sandra's never been found. It's still an open case. But something weird's going on.
Okay. So weird.
So weird, eh?
And creepy.
And creepy, but cool.
But that
then
cool?
It makes me think, okay, obviously this story is going from a real life missing person and getting fringy into weird, paranormally spiritual, I don't know what. But could it be if Caden really saw some manifestation of Sandra Hughes, could it be that the other hikers and hunters also saw us? Could it be that she was dead that whole time?
And they were just
and
ghost
they too
manifestations.
saw some kind of, and I don't even know if I believe in ghosts or what that would mean. Like, I'm not trying to say, but
Yeah, so
some kind of, like, you do hear these stories of like supernatural kind of things of where people need closure on their bodies found, or
right. So I
I've
guess
seen The Ring.
the staring blankly would give that like explanation that it really could have been her ghost, if you will, her manifestation or whatever. And that kind of where she doesn't talk to them and she can't is maybe like a better explanation for how they're
The weird
seeing her.
behavior?
Well, the weird behavior too. That's kind of why I'm like, I
But
want
it
these people to
also
like
is a
take her
terrible
hand
explanation
and like put
because-
her in the car, because if you are an apparition or a ghost, you couldn't actually do that.
Right. It's weird.
Yeah.
And you almost wouldn't believe, like, had the mom just said, oh, we saw this blue-haired woman, sure, you could connect the dots and say, oh, I bet it was Sandra Hughes. But there would be no real evidence of it.
Right.
But with the police actually getting involved and bringing pictures of her,
well, and also
pictures of other people,
Yeah.
and it wasn't just like, is this the woman you saw?
That's kind of crazy.
It's super crazy. And that would be the most terrifying of all.
So to this day, they've never found her body
Nope.
or any remains of any kind.
Nope.
And there's only been those stories of seeing her that have been brought forth.
Yes.
So only the first group of hikers in the field, and then the hunters,
Mhm.
and
Those are
then
the only two that
family.
have seen her. Yeah.
Well,
Or
there's three. Yeah, three.
Two groups of hunters, or hikers, hunters, and then the family.
Yeah.
The first group of hikers never saw her. Just
And
her
then
stuff.
like the sleeping bag by the lake, the car in the ravine, and then the campsite. So weird.
Yeah. Now, what the little boy said about her body also really got to me.
Yeah, because he said
He said that she was face down
with her legs
with
up.
her legs up in the air, which makes me think like you'd have to be twisted in some kind of really grotesque way
Yeah.
to make that possible, unless the source I got it from wrote it wrong, or
Or the little boy
He said it
thought she was face
wrong.
down, but really
Right.
she was just on her back with her legs up.
right.
Whole thing is weird.
But how terrifying would that be for a little boy?
I mean, I wonder if he's even terrified by it, or he's just kind of like, well, I don't know.
Yeah. But it seemed like, because he says she's over there and she needs our help. And that made me first think like, oh, he's talking to somebody. But maybe he's not. Maybe he's talking to himself and just saying, there's a dead person over here. It makes me think of Stand By Me. Like, it gives me the same vibes when I was a little kid.
Stand By Me.
The movie where the group, it's a coming of age story,
I know. I think I've seen it.
but they're looking for a dead body.
In the water.
Hit by a train. They do go through
Like a like not
yeah,
like a wetland.
like a pond.
Yeah.
And they get leeches all over them. But when they find the dead body in the bushes, like that's kind of the same vibe it gives me with the
Ugh.
story. And yeah, it's just weird. Like, I'm not saying the kid actually saw a ghost or anything. I have no idea. But something doesn't add up.
Yeah, something is strange. Huh. Well, maybe there still will be an answer.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, they're treating it as a missing person. I guess that's different than potentially like a foul play, like a murder. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they look harder or if they suspect foul play, they kind of keep it more open or more in the forefront. And if it's just a maybe missing person, it's kind of more forgotten. I don't know. Because there's like no statute of limitations on like foul play, right? Like on murder.
Yeah, capital murder probably doesn't have a statute of limitations.
But if it's just a missing person, I mean, I think they're going to kind of forget about it.
Yeah, I mean, they're not going to put any resources into
Right. Yeah.
looking,
That's so interesting. I wonder what her family,
There's just so many
her family
puzzle
is-
pieces that don't fit together that
Right.
was really bothersome. Like if you were
Yeah.
a family.
Yeah, it would be very.
And it almost makes you think like the hunters didn't see the same person. But then who else is standing out in the woods with blue hair by themselves?
Well, because the hunters had a different outfit on, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But they actually went up and talked to her, so it's not like
Yeah.
they'd get that wrong.
Right.
I mean, one thing if they reported like, oh, she had jeans and a blue shirt on. Okay, well, that makes sense. Blue, black. Okay.
Right.
But overalls and a floral shirt is very distinct.
But she didn't seem responsive to them when they talked.
Mm-mm.
I still want someone to grab her hand and put her in the car, and then they would know if it was like an apparition or if it was like a real body.
Yeah.
Come on.
But this is
people.
why I don't grab random women in the woods, because they could be a ghost, and
You
that would
just-
be terrifying.
Take their hand. That's not terrifying.
If it's a ghost, it is.
No, you would think it's cool. I would be freaking out. I mean, you would be like,
No. I would think it was cool if like our piano started playing by itself right now. Finding a random woman in the
Dazed
woods.
and confused.
Yeah, that doesn't sound fun at all.
sounds
That
terrifying.
sounds terrifying.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, maybe something will happen over the next couple of years and something will be discovered and they'll have more answers, you know?
Yeah. I need to kind of maybe keep an eye out. Like the Yuba County 5.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's an unsolved mystery. Like,
Right.
I should keep an eye out for
Yeah,
updates on any of those kind of things.
for sure.
Because we did a story on that one too.
Yeah. Well-
But it's weird. There's actually so many crazy stories of people going missing in national parks.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Which makes sense because they're big and oftentimes people are off remotely,
Yeah.
you know. But there are a lot of just bizarre instances.
Yeah. There really should be the rule of like, you don't do those kind of things unless you're in a buddy system. Just like scuba diving. Like you're not supposed to be alone. You're supposed to have a buddy and someone checking in on you. And, you know, not that it's foolproof, you know, especially if visibility gets bad, if the storm comes in, if you're hiking or whatever, right? But it's so much safer, so
Yeah.
much smarter. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
solo backpacking. Well, some of these stories I've heard of people on the Pacific Crest Trail. You know, you're trying to solo hike for months
Months.
on your own.
Yeah.
There are some crazy stuff that happens.
And I don't want to know about them.
Well, you might know about some of them at some point.
Okay. So, well, that was
anyways,
interesting.
It was a strange one.
That is a strange one.
So we'll be back next week
Yep.
for our 1 year anniversary.
Ooh. Our first one was our Japanese friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like maybe we should come full circle and do something Japanese.
Okay, we did Japanese just a couple weeks ago,
That's true. Okay.
but I might have another Japanese one. Actually, you can find lots of good Japanese ones.
Yeah. Well, nah, you don't have, you do whatever you want.
Well, right now I got nothing planned, so
So
the blank canvas.
a blank canvas. Maybe you'll be inspired by the trial.
Maybe.
Maybe something lawyer.
The problem is I won't do anything else
But the trial.
but the trial. But I think they actually only have trial one day this week.
Oh, well, then you'll be
So-
forced to do something else.
Yeah.
Good.
Tried to be a little productive with my life.
All right.
So, all right, everybody. Well, yeah, there's actually a new feature on the links now, wherever you listen to the podcast, where you can shoot us a text message. So I would actually be curious if any of you have your own hypotheses on what happened to Sandra Hughes. Shoot us a text. Let us know what you think. Maybe you're smarter than us. Ethne's agreeing. Yep, probably smarter than us.
Well, I mean, or just have better knowledge in that, you know, area
Yeah.
of expertise. So,
Awesome. Well, everyone have a wonderful week. We will be back next week and we will talk to you then. Bye.
goodbye.